and white and we're looking good. You'll be in for a fight and we fight pretty good. Getting goals is our job and we get goals good. Looking good, we are Carlisle United.
Carlisle United, the team that's on the ball. Carlisle United, the team for one and all. You're looking good and we're with you all the way. You'll hear us singing every time you play.
Being at Kenles and Neil with a pass so true. To Balderstone and Clark's in view. There's a cross and a run, the old 1-2 and a shot and a goal for United.
Hello everyone and welcome to the latest of our series of special interview episodes of the Brunton Bugle. Yes, I know what you're thinking. This is the one that I've been promising for weeks and weeks and weeks, but all I'm going to say is better late than never. This one's been delayed for a while due to some technical issues I was having with the files, but I finally managed to resolve them and bring you the chat I had with the Blues top scorer this season, Kristian Dennis. Now, firstly, this was recorded at the start of October, so a couple of bits are, of course, a little bit out of date now. For instance, he's actually hit double figures for goals since he mentioned that in the chat, and it's a little bit shorter than some of the other chats we've had, but it's still really good crack, and Kristian certainly comes across as a very determined character who's keen to make a lasting impact in his time at Brunton Park. Before I do the brief sort of player bio introduction for Kristian, a massive thanks once again go to Andy Hull and Amy Nixon in the media team at the club for helping facilitate this interview. Their support is always really appreciated. And of course, a big thank you to Kristian for giving up his time after training for the chat. So who are we talking to today? Kristian Dennis was born in Manchester in 1990 and began his career at MacclesfieldAn, coming up through the academy at Moss Rose. After a handful of first team appearances and a couple of loan spells, he was released and joined nearby Woodley Sports, followed by spells at Mossley and Curzon Ashton before he turned up at Stockport County. His time with the Hatters was up and down, and he even had a loan spell back at Macclesfield before making his move into the AFL with Chesterfield. After time with Notts County, Grimsby and SPL side St Mirren, he joined the Blues in January this year, and after a stop-start first few months, he's gone on to establish himself this season as an almost ever-present and one of the top scorers in the division. So here's the chat I had with Kristian, where we talked about a number of topics, including an interesting experience with his manager at Stockport County at Cheshire Oaks, how much he's enjoying his time at Brunton Park, and his thoughts on Keith Millen's comments about his match fitness when he joined the Blues. That's a really interesting bit, by the way. So there you go. Enjoy. So, Kristian, I was doing a bit of prep for this interview, looking back at your career, and probably fair to say you had to do it the hard way by working your way back up through non-league football, having been in an academy set up at Macclesfield, and to get yourself back to the point where you're at today, haven't you?
Yeah, just I think it was about 20 and ended up getting released. Didn't really play first team football. I think I only played 5-6 times, and then, like you say, go the hard way. Just do part-time football, work a bit on the side, try and make a living, and then got my break, and then I've not looked back since.
As you mentioned there, you started off Macclesfield in the academy, you got a pro deal there, only after you made a handful of first team appearances, and then obviously you let go. In how tough is it as a young kid to work so hard to get yourself that pro deal in the first place, only to not really get a huge amount of chances, and then get told we don't think you're good enough and you have to go and start again lower down the league?
Yeah, it's tough. I didn't think I got a fair chance when I was there though, but like you say, it is tough to start again. Pretty much not really played any football, and I was 20 years of age, I think I was, and it's pretty much starting again really. Like the last few years were for nothing really, and then I think I went to Woodley Sports and started scoring a few goals, and then not stopped since.
Yeah, in terms of that, obviously you mentioned there you were at Woodley Sports. You also think spent time at Mossley and Curzon Ashton. Done the hard yards of the Cheshire Manchester non-league circuit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Did you think your dream of being a professional had gone at that point, or were you always determined to get yourself back in a pro deal?
I never thought about it, to be honest. I just wanted to just carry on playing footy.
Yeah.
And then I didn't think anything was going to happen. I'd never planned for it to happen. Yeah. And I just carried on scoring, and teams were looking at me, and luckily someone Chesterfield took a punt on me a few years later.
Yeah, obviously before you went to Chesterfield, you spent a bit of time at Stockport, didn't you? And obviously a big club, scene. They're now back in our division, but probably going through quite a bit of a tough period at that time, I think it's fair to say. And you even then got a loan move back to Macclesfield, didn't you? And I seem to remember you had a really good season there, and they wanted to recall you, to sell you in January, and forgot to put a recall clause in your loan.
Carnage. That was the manager's fault that at the time. I think he'd just come in, I think it was Neil Young he was called. He said to me, there was about 10 of us, like, had another contract for the year later. And I was on holiday at the time, and he said, I want to see you tomorrow. Like, meet us at Cheshire Oaks, like a shopping outlet.
Yeah, I live down
so
the way.
I was like, okay, he's not going to take me all the way to Cheshire Oaks to pie me off. And he was like, I'm going to try and find another club. Even if you're on half the money, I wouldn't have kept you. And all this. I was like, wow, okay. And then luckily, I spoke to John Askey. He was a manager at Macclesfield, because he was my youth team manager back in when I was there the first time. And he was like, yes, come and play for us and like just leave there. But I've really enjoyed it at Stockport. It was right on my doorstep. Still live there now, and I wanted to do well there, but just didn't happen. And luckily, John was at Macclesfield and took a risk and paid off.
Well, you'll be looking forward to the game at Stockport next month, then, won't you? I suppose.
Yeah, I'm going to walk there. I think it's only about 800 yards from my house, so
it's handy, that, isn't it? You got yourself a move back into the EFL with Chesterfield. Scored plenty there. I think you managed, was it 21 in 45 in your second season? But
yeah,
despite that, the team got relegated.
That
must have been a bizarre feeling of being one of the top scorers in the division, and yet the rest of your teams. I say not doing their part, but obviously
we just couldn't pick up results. We had a brilliant team, but we just couldn't get results, and we were always playing catch up from towards the start of the season, and it just got a bit too much for us, and ended up going down with about 3 or 4 games to go, which was pretty rubbish. But personally, I did well. I scored 21 goals, and I'd have took that before the season started. But it's just a shame to go down.
And as a result, obviously, with the amount of goals you scored, you earned yourself a move to Notts County, and the side, a huge club, obviously a little bit overshadowed by their friends across the river, but they had ambitions of promotion. Again, decent form there, but
never got to run a game there, really. It was carnage that year, because Kevin Nolan got sacked after 5 games, I think, and then Harry Kuehl come in, he got sacked after 7 weeks, 10 weeks, or something like that. And then I think we had, with interim managers, we had 5 managers by Christmas.
Wow.
And then the new manager come in, wasn't really having me, so I then went to Grimsby on loan. Yeah. And then, as you can see from the other night, they didn't like the goal, did they?
No, I was going to say enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But obviously, you again got relegated there. It must have been frustrating.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
But
I was at Grimsby the second half of the season, so I don't count that.
But you left the Magpies and got yourself a move to St Mirren in Scotland. What was it like for a different football experience? Because you spent your whole career in England.
Yeah.
And go up to Scotland and be playing top flight football must have been eye-opening is probably the wrong phrase, but very different sort of experience.
Definitely, yeah, because Notts offered me a deal, but I was umming and ahhing whether to sign it or not, and then I got a call saying they were in for me, and I thought, it's different, totally different from what I've been used to. You get a lot more exposure up there, living in Glasgow, playing Celtic Rangers, Celtic and Ibrox. I thought I might as well give it a go. What have I got to lose here? I could be ploughing around the conference, going Dover away, or could be playing Celtic away, and thought, just give it a go. Yeah. What's the worst that can happen? I'll be back next season. So just got my head down and moved up there and loved it. Even though I got injured quite a bit, to be fair, which was rubbish. But yeah.
Yeah, I think you've touched on it before. You scored a goal at Celtic Park.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't mention it much, but frustratingly, no fans there to see it.
Oh, yeah. I was just summed my time up there with injuries and that, because I think we played. There was fans back in the season after, and we're playing Rangers on Boxing Day, but then COVID hit, and you're only allowed 500 fans. So we played at Ibrox in front of 500 as well.
You might as well have had no one there.
I know, exactly, but yeah, it was a good experience to play there, but it obviously would have been a bit better with the fans there.
Yeah. So you mentioned the fact you had issues of injuries, and then come this January, there's an opportunity to return to England, to come to Carlisle. I mean, you come into a side struggling at the bottom of the table. Do you not think, I hope this is third time looking at it, don't get relegated again?
I'm not going to lie, after who do we play at home? Port Vale? I thought, oh no, it's not going to happen again, is it? Yeah. But luckily, we had a change of management, and Simo come in and sorted it out.
What convinced you that this was the right move for you at the time? Is it just a case of I want to get myself playing some bit of football, get myself back to England?
Literally, move back home, try and play some games, and just try and score some goals. I've not really had a run of games for a while. Thought I'd just get back in the team, start playing, and hopefully score.
You were brought in by Keith Millen as manager at the time. only for him to be sacked a month later. I mean, did you think to yourself, what on earth have I walked into here when that happened?
100%, yeah. Yeah, but least said about that, the better, I'd say.
Yeah, obviously that didn't end very well. And then, literally, an hour later, Simo turns up as the gaffer. Did you realise just how popular he was with the fans here when he arrived?
I'd heard about it, but I didn't know. Obviously, you've seen what he's done in the game and what he's done with England and whatnot, and you could just tell from the first few days, especially because we had a tough game, didn't we, late in Orient on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And then to go on to win 5 out of 6 pretty much secured a safety, that didn't it? So it was just a crazy turn of events in them few weeks.
Yeah. Obviously, what's he been like to work with? So now, as a manager, obviously you've worked with plenty of managers down there. What's he been like?
He's sound. You speak to him if you want. He has a game plan every game, lets you know what he wants, when you want to do it, and it's just very thorough, and that's what we need. And you can see from the results we've been picking up, it works.
When you came in originally in January, it was made very clear that you were coming in and you probably weren't fully match fit because you'd had a few injury issues at St.
That was nonsense.
Yeah, no, you think that was nonsense? Yeah, that was that was the words Keith Millen used.
I know it was, but it was nonsense.
Oh, so you weren't happy with that? Then fair enough. But yeah, obviously you were a little bit in and out of the side in that sort of run up to the end of the season. I think Simo sort of switched things around as much as he can to keep people fresh. So come the summer, you're giving all your plans obviously as players to get yourself fit. How did you feel come the end of the pre-season? Did you feel you were really fit and raring to go ready for the campaign?
Compared to normal, I did more running and that, and I'm, no matter how fit I get, I'm at the back of the running. I'm never a runner, but I give it a good go pre-season, and touch wood, stayed injury free and been able to build on that, and I think a good pre-season helps you, and fingers crossed it has done so far, and hopefully it continues.
What did Simo say were your targets were for this season? Did he speak to you and say individually, this is what I want to see from you from this campaign?
No, nothing.
No.
Just as a team, he set a bit of a target for us, and hopefully we're on the way to do that, and we'll see come the end of the season if we get it.
You've got to be happy with the way your season's gone so far. I mean, scoring for fun, you've been played pretty much near enough every minute, I think, of the games as well. I mean, that you must be pretty happy.
Yeah, I thought the Crawley, I think it was 5 minutes in, isn't it? You can't get a better start than that, can you? That just eases everything. And luckily he's kept faith with me, and I've only not scored in 2 league games or 3, I'm not sure. And hopefully if that carries on to the end of the season, then hopefully we'll be up there and pushing for the top places.
Obviously you've had these sort of good patches in games of goals you've scored, but even the games where you've not scored, your all-round game seems to be something that's really, I won't say come on since last season, but we've seen a lot more of it this season in terms of your work you do off the ball and your link play as well. That must be something you're happy with.
Yeah, definitely. Just try and do the best for the team. Literally, if I'm doing well, others are doing well around me, and we've just got to keep doing that work as a team and get the results to push up there.
What are these lads like to work with as well? Because I mean, in terms of obviously up front, you've had a few different strike partners this year, because it seems to be you're the only one who isn't cursed with injury so far. Touch wood. But yeah, this season you had a few different strike partners, but behind you that midfield's been fairly settled. How important has it been? Those three, Gibson, Guy, and Mox in particular.
Yeah, brilliant. Like they're all creative players. It's Callum sits a bit more. He still looks to play them forward balls, and Mox and Gibbo can, like seen with Mox's goal the other day, he's got some strike on him and some range of passing, and Gibbo can do anything in a tight space or create something out of nothing, and if you've got players like that, then you shouldn't go far wrong. You've
got a few different strike partners as well, haven't you, in the team, and all different sort of attributes, don't you? Obviously Amari, blinding pace, you can take anyone on. Edmo's obviously a big strong lad as well, but a little bit of pace about him too, and Jack showed it as well on Tuesday night. He's got something as well. Obviously Toby, him, he's not even featured this season, but last season he'd come on in games and he'd cause chaos, wouldn't he?
Oh, definitely. He's good, Tobes, last year. Yeah, really enjoyed watching him, and when everyone's fit, it's going to be a battle to use playing, but fingers crossed, if I keep scoring, hopefully I'll stay in the team.
One thing Simo's mentioned recently is the character in this squad. They all seem to be good lads who'll fight for each other and will stick up for each other on the pitch as well when things are not going right. You seem to be quite a strong character yourself. I think we've seen some of your goal celebrations. You're certainly quite happy to give it back to the away fans, aren't you, when they give you stick?
Yeah, I'd say, if they give you shit, you do one thing and it causes uproar, doesn't it? And but they're all right to give you a load of rubbish, aren't they? But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Fans are like that, aren't they? If you easily get a reaction from them, no matter what you do.
I think one of my favourites was it wasn't even a goal you scored, it was the Tranmere one. Where there's a brilliant video showing of the fan celebration. If you look just in front, you can see you and I can't remember, maybe Joe Riley. Joe Riley was quite happily giving it back to those fans, because I remember I was stood in the stand that day, and that fellow who kept booting the ball.
Exactly,
to the back of the stand, I bet he was a popular bloke.
Yeah, because I think if they'd won that game as well, they'd have been in the playoffs come the end of the season. I think they were 1 or 2 points off the playoffs, so sums it up, doesn't it? Yeah. You get what you're given.
Yeah, there was that real fighting spirit last season from the team. It's still there, that fighting spirit, but it just seems like the quality of the play and everything seems to have stepped up this season.
Yeah, I think it has too. But I say you've got to earn the right to play in them positions, and with that fight, will help us with later on in the game when we've got the quality to break teams down when they're tired. Like I say, we're fit, and with the pre-season we had, most teams will be able to live with us come the end of the season, and hope that continues.
That's the key thing, is obviously we've had these rotten luck with injuries, I think it's fair to say. Since the start of the season, there's been 11 players out injured. Do you feel like the work we've done on fitness, it's not so much you'll see it now, but come December when it gets very busy with a lot of games packed together, that's when we'll really see the benefit? Yeah,
I think so, yeah. I think that's what they say. We don't want you to peak early on in the season. We need you mid towards end of the season. That's when it'll benefit you the most. So you just got to trust what they say, and fingers crossed it works.
Have you set yourself a goals target for this season?
I wanted double figures at the start of the season, so
you're nearly there.
No, so might have to reassess that, and hopefully it'll turn out.
Obviously, it's basically a case of just keep scoring as much as you can and try and get us up the table, I suppose. And
right
on the edge of the playoffs now,
exactly,
with all those players out as well.
If you keep scoring and winning games, then we're not going to be far off at the end of the season, are we? So just got to, it's easier said than done, though. You've got to it's not played on paper, is it, the game? So you've just got to go into each game, try and win it, and see what happens.
Obviously, you and the others are getting goals at the other end, and the other back in defence. You've got bigger Thomas there, and then you're back free, and they're certainly doing a decent job too.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone's pulling together in the same. Everyone's got the same goal to win games, get up the table, and you see on the pitch we've only lost one this season, haven't we? So if that continues, we shouldn't be far off.
Hopefully, come May promotion.
Cheers. Fingers crossed.
Thanks, Kristian.
No worries.
Well, there you go. That's the chat I had with Kristian Dennis. I'm sure you agree. Yeah, a really interesting character as well. It's a shame it wasn't a longer chat. Unfortunately, we were a little bit short on time, so we had to squeeze that one in. But again, thank you so much, Kristian, for giving up his time, being very generous with it. And thank you again as well to, obviously, Andy and Amy for helping sort out that interview. Obviously, that's the last of the players that we interviewed done, but we do have one more special one to come. That's, of course, with a man who's sadly retiring from his role very soon, John Halpin, a brilliant servant to this club. And I sat down and had a really fascinating chat with him about his whole time at Brunton Park, from being a player right through to his work with the community, but also his time as one of the joint managers alongside Dave Wilkes and Michael Knight. And I think that's what a crazy time that was. Some really interesting things came out of that, but again, Halpy, what a wonderful guy. But yeah, this one's also about Kristian, obviously, and thank you again to him. And hopefully we'll have the Halpy one out fairly soon, and we're going to hopefully get a few more lined up with some former players in the new year, but we'll have to wait and see on those. So yeah, thanks once again for your time, and up the Blues.